something. Hey, the window's there. No scene behind.
Yeah, I usually have the TV in the background going.
There's so many comments about that. I'm thinking like, are people really listening to what I say or they're watching TV?
That's
Those
intense.
people wave at us too. My
Oh yeah.
kids stand in the yeah, yeah. Very friendly. They have the three boys or something like this. Oh, you showed up right away, and it's interesting. So I see you. I mostly see your. It's like I see you, the outline of your physical body sitting and looking at me, but I mostly see you as this long, tall, white energy figure in the white, like thin fabric type outfit. Um, and you got those ears, but they're kind of pointy. They're kind of like elf ears, and they set higher than normally our ears are. And you have this prolonged chin and very like interesting eyes that go like this. And they're like bright green, almost like topaz or something would be like crystalline structure with the light glowing through. And there's just can't understand. It's like a figure behind you, and you call him father, but he's holding. He was standing as a kind of grayish figure, but when I touch him to read his DNA, he turned into this eagle being because I see his claws, like the hands was the claws, like a bird would have. And he's saying that, well, I take him when I need him, when I'm told. And I see like a metallic square box in this eagle's head. But then he turns it into this figure of it looks like a tall gray, but he's got slightly different features. How woody, Heidi, something like his name is because you call him Heidi. And I see you. I'm just going to where you were before this incarnation because I see a lot of like very tall trees, grass. Is very tall grass. Everything is like green, and the trees are just like those giant trees, and each tree has like a portal or a door in it, and you can walk in, and there's just like two levels. You can go up the tree to greet the friends, and the friends are they're like smaller type um elves. That's the best description. I mean, they're clearly not elves, but they also 30% of them still exist on Earth in the forests, the small ones. But you're standing and saying the big brothers like me, we had to leave, and some of us, about 11%, had to disperse in incarnations on Earth to wait, even though time for us doesn't really exist. So we knew there was gonna be some incarnations past in the physical to wait for the rise of the phoenix. Okay, who's the phoenix? You're saying the rise of the phoenix, it's like the rise of the real red sun, which is a flare projection of the original sun. And we call him the red phoenix because they kept him in captivity, but he's going to rise as well as we do. Blue avians try to eradicate us from the earth. They were fighting with us because they wanted to take over the astral plane above the earth, but we won, and there are only the positive ones are left. The negative ones, as it always happens with all the alien groups, when they split into positive and negative, the negative ones go and cooperate with grays. Grays are like the mastermind in the universe, and they hybridize themselves with every race. But we are the original race that comes from this space called, it's like the earth, but it doesn't really, I don't hear the name. It's like S52 in code, but you call it Pro Earth. It's like a prototype of the Earth that it was created holographically, and I see like a huge dome on a, you say that it's 8D planet, which kind of looks like not a planet. This universe where you came from, all the planets are flat, and they're like, it's like a round cluster floating with the shape like this at the end, but it's like a, you say like it's a root system that grabs into the uh, consciousness of the space in the whole bubble of the universe. And there's like so many of them around like that. They're different sizes in different colors, and I could tell the experience will be different. And you say that, well, sometimes there are even square and triangular universes, and rectangular ones, and cylindrical ones. That's all creation. We created everything that can possibly exist. And then when you want to detach yourself and experience yourself, you just like a baby of a huge you coming down. You already know which life you picked, in which density, what body, and each density and each body belonging to it can do certain things, or sometimes cannot do certain things, and you're aware of it when coming. But what what makes you fearless coming down is your strong connection with your own source, with your own source of energy that's like a fountain of energy, and you keep a string in between your big you and your small you. And that's, you said that connection was interfered with. You know, I see this string that you showed me. It has some devices on it. It literally has some, it's almost like beads on the string. I've seen that before. I see like squares. When I get close to them, I see the the squares are like cubes, like the cube on the moon in the middle that I see filled with black goo. And it's like the AI aspect that can go into this little It actually does. It's like an AI. It's like an how is it called? The dripping. It's like dripping little drops, tiny micro, into the contaminating the energetic cord connection of you with your higher self, and it makes it, instead of bright white, it's like grayish. So you kind of like don't feel. It's like you feel numb. Like you don't feel that connection alive between you here on earth and him. And what happened, or her, I mean, it's just neutral energy. What basically happened is you were brought as an elf from that S-52 prototype Earth planet to Earth, and then taken by ship to Pleiades. Clearly, some star there that the Greys are have a lab. The lab is very interesting. It's like I've seen this before. It's like a round dome glass, and then there's like five, like a star has five tunnels with little domes connected to each tunnel. Those are little labs. When they do the research, they bring it to the main research center. And you're saying that they needed your knowledge. For you, you knew where you were going. You didn't like going there, but you wanted to figure out how Grace became the masterminds of this universe and how they created so much technology to deceive other humanoid beings. And you wanted to see their research center. You're pointing like there's like conveyor belt almost of different chips for the mind control that they can insert. And they replicate them in the physical too. There are physical ones, there are etheric ones, and you look to that. And basically what Greys are very smart at doing, they infiltrate a race, let's say Pleiadian, and then they would convince them at the lower densities when they're not as when their consciousness is not as high, density is not as high. Let's say they go to third dimension or fourth and say that try to implement the idea of God or somebody's higher than them and they're not as smart as that God. And to be as smart, they need some technology. Or they would use, and then they would implement, they put this technology into their heads. And partially, this technology has a strong battle for survival instinct. So that would create wars. The wars would create important energy for them to carry on with their research. Because what they do is they get an extract of the best characteristics of each soul, and then they kind of blend it together from each race. And you're saying that they have in the laboratory, they have the special shelves where they keep those extracts on the shelves. So this is like the Pleiades' best characteristics, what they can do. And this is Andromedans and Arcturians and Syrians, and it's all labeled. And so then they can create perfect hybrids by mixing those DNA with theirs DNA. And you wanted to figure out how to destroy their system. What is their strengths is all about. The thing is their strengths is all about also about the AI technology, and that's very much that black goo that everybody grabs onto because it guarantees your power over others. You can feed it to beings and it can take over their mind, and they would be obedient to you. They would become this black goo hive mind type creatures, and they would forget who they are, become aggressive and angry. It's pretty much what happens. Um, and just looking at you, you can literally, you're showing me that you can detach your arms. Your body is so flexible and all this eighth dimension. You can put like a hand through it, through your chest, and nothing would happen because you're just energy. And then you have this, yeah, there's this thing on your neck that this gray put on. It kind of looks like collar with the spikes. At the end of the spikes, there's like little balls. And I feel when in a situation when you meet somebody that would have an impact on you to help you with something, with some understanding or push you to progress more in your consciousness level, it starts spinning. Like it starts spinning around you, producing some waves, and subconsciously that person feels like spiky energy, something like this, and they would just like step away. Um, but that's basically why you're saying that. Well, I'm aware he's watching over me, this gray, but I'm also, and you know, this eagle shapeshifter, but it's like they split and they shapeshift into two and then goes back into just one tall gray. He's got a strange scales on his back. It's almost like he's got 18% of reptilian DNA, or actually amphibian DNA. Is amphibians a reptilian? This amphibian race of reptilians can shapeshift easily into anything, and he can even he actually pulls you into different it's these are like black holes, almost like portals, but they're dark when your body is asleep, and he keeps you as his guard because he tries to explore different places, and some of them are pretty dark even for him, and he keeps you as his like bodyguard almost because he can use your energy for even as a light, as a protection, as a high vibrational energy, so he could not be touched. Sometimes he kind of blends and he turns into your cape and tells you to go in some higher densities so he can observe how they live and maybe catch on how to grab one or two souls. And you used to be not aware of it, but after you saved a few of the beings he grabbed, he usually would try to just grab them by interest and portray Earth as a beautiful place, or just grab little children from different star races to own and to bring to his lab on Pleiades. That's a contract with Pleiades right there on that little star. It's blue. And what comes to me, gamma, all the time, like this gamma star in Pleiades. Um, so they're kind of like using you, but you're aware, and also you they don't understand. You're also tricking them in a way, But in another way, you're getting tired of it, and you also want to figure out how to disconnect from the whole situation, because you see the timeline here, and that end that is near is all positive, and you feel like your mission is done in a way that you created for yourself. But there's a lot of beings who had this decision to leave this earth plane and not to leave, because the invasions kept happening. But some of them had great curiosity to see what's going to happen, because they didn't fully realize that the bodies would become totally physical, due to manipulation of DNA and experimentation, and we would lose the ability to connect directly to our higher self, in the state of awareness, physical awareness. So it became hard, but there's still so many of you, and you're just kind of like cold on them. And I see like a group of beings looking like you, and they just doing this, like this, like that says emotion, was they like connected always, connected always like that. Um, Let me look in the. I'm just seeing some interesting things. So it's like a ring here. It's like an implant or something. It's it was this gray, and then the bracelets here, and the same ring here on the arms. And then he puts some almost like this tiara thingy, but made out of leaves, that are kind of like Roman, almost metallic. So something. He's very powerful. He's got a lot of foreign DNA in him, to make him have abilities. And there are different tiny thingies. They almost look like black sticks, but each one has 8 legs from both sides, and they're mostly located like under your. It's like there's where they are. It's umbilical cord, a button, and lower, and they just go. They're circulating. I couldn't understand what it was because I see it like from far away, like dots. But then when you get close, those are like siphoning. Sometimes they go up, but mostly they're located there because he wants your vital energy, but mostly your energy of creation. So he like gets your sexual energy. It's just like a constant drainage of it, because he knows that's the most powerful for creating a world. He can create a universe for and create more hybrids, gray hybrids, and create a different reality by just using your energy. He doesn't need anybody else, even though I see that every single gray working in that lab up here, they all connected to some human beings, to some humans and nurse for energy. Um, so you are just creating like a magnet. Those bugs are like AI. They're not biological. They don't reproduce or anything. They don't multiply. There's just 17 of them. It's the number I see. And you magnetize them on a big magnet, holding it, and I just see it's covered with them. So you open the portal and throw them out. And There's also some, periodically, he does some interesting thing. It's like the ceiling of your energy sphere opens, and there's just some tornado starts going on, and it sits right above your head, and sometimes it goes over to your shoulders, and it shifts, it's up and down, and that's when you feel, it's almost like you feel numb in your head or lightheaded or strange sensations. And that's when he totally siphons the your creative thoughts, your creative abilities, um, because it's like a deal in between. He takes you in your energy body to his lab to see how he progressed with hybrids. And he takes your energy of creation and your ideas, your creative abilities in return. But you have a like big book, and I see you in some of your incarnations, and you keep writing in this book. It's like this is your incarnation number 19, and I see the all the incarnations you basically keep this book. It looks like a brown kind of leather book with some symbol on top. Look at the symbol. It's like a big leaf, big green leaf on the bright like silver plate, round, and it signifies the power of nature and how it contributes. Consciousness of nature contributes to consciousness of anybody in a body, of a humanoid body. And you just absorb information into your hand, put a hand on the page, and it's written, it's done like that. I see I see something like a writing, but it's definitely not English, not any language of Earth. It's more like code system. And you write everything down, what Greys do, how they do it, how they create their microchips, how they got people that they're controlling on Earth to provide the misinformation. Also, people on Earth who advertise their microchips as a good thing and try to convince that's a way for them to get human DNA. If you convince enough people to insert that microchip in their head that they produce there in different labs actually all around the universe, that way you can get more human DNA and more humans who are going to be obedient to you as slaves. And plus, there's something they agreed to with the Nordics to create the superhuman race, and they are trying to get that gene going, as you're saying, to actually create the huge race because they're obsessed with that Atlantean race that was gone on this timeline. And now they want to recreate it and even enhance it with more abilities. And I see you like a Amazonian river. The guy with like long hair. You're you're like a teacher of a tribe, tribal people, village. Roofs made out of this big palm leaves. There are not many. There are only 18 huts, 80, 80, 80. And they get in a circle around you and you tell them about the star systems, things like that. And so they can get acquainted with their own selves. In the reality, you actually just scan them and read their DNA and tell by using them basically you tell them all the information about themselves to kind of to make them remember themselves, and then you write down in your book what you learned from them, but you do it secretly at night. And there's another life when you do it, you go to a specific cave, and that's where your book is at, and you also do it in those times uh, on the way to work. It seems like it's Bavaria, Germany. It's like a hill with a cave inside. Um, I see a lot in. Let me see if there are any. Yeah, it's like you pick this male bodies all the time. I don't see a woman's body anywhere, but I do see you in a life when you lost your wife and you're taking care of these two kids by yourself. And that's post-war something. It's like you come back from the war. You speak, I think it's Slavic language, like Czech or something. And something happened to your wife. Like she stepped on some bomb or something, or some got, like was in the wrong place because something related to the weapon and she was shot or something. And then you just become like you start creating the positive world for those kids. But the reason why those negative lives, so because of this gray, he was trying to put you in low vibration. He was also trying to create a bubble of you around you to make you lonely or sad, make you craving people around you who would understand, or at least one best friend or something like this. And that's throughout the lives. So you took all those bracelets, both from each arm, so four, that leave one ring from the head. Some gray matter from the chest, but it's like your creation was the help of the gray under the influence of him due to all the lives and like sorrow from them, from those lives. Um, it's kind of like you try to block your own emotions that way by creating this like a layer, gray layer over the heart area. So you make it into a ball, open a portal, throw it out with all those rings also. So those bugs are gone. And now it's time for the gray to go. Just open a portal, tall door, and here goes. Yeah, though they used to be like when you were little, some beings of light. I feel like they used to be called by, it's like by your mother, just like I see a female figure being worried about some things, and they would give her the calmness, of not to worry, and through her asking for help would get attached to you, and they would take you sometimes to the journeys, like you thought there were journeys to fly with them, but in reality, they would take you to their world to get information and energy from you. Because with them, it's like that communication with the energetic body is everything. And but then they got detached because Gray didn't want them to be in your energy sphere. He wanted you all for himself. So let me see if he created. There are some hybrids that he created. There is, let me see. Well, I got the 8, and I feel like 9s is being in the tube. They're ready to go. And they all on that at that lab that they're supposed to help out. It's like they all their staff is hybrids of grays, different races. Some of them look like Pleiades, other are like from the ones Arcturians. Different, but they actually have a lot of gray DNA in them too. They can be deceiving. They can use them to deceive humans. That's basically what they do. Um, so those hybrids, you just go back to where he would take your DNA and eliminate those moments. It was when you were 5 and 6. And there's another thing you do. You just send this powerful wave of energy white, because you're clean now, and you actually cleaned your DNA. There was like 13% of the gray, because he was so closely connected to you, you got merged, and partially his DNA got merged with you through this black goo dripping through that connection to you, your higher self. And I see like you burned up all the metallic cubes, and your energetic cord to your own self is clean. The interesting thing, because you had this cord, you did not have the cord to the matrix system or the dome system layers, um, because you kept it very strong, was your intention. And yeah, I asked you about what about the chakras, and you said, those metallic plates are gone. I took them out, and yeah, they're gone. I didn't see them. So you just raise your vibration, and 9 and 0, like 90 strands of DNA. Um, you're just cleansing them. All the little rings. The same thing. It's like they use a lot of rings, like on the arms and on the head. It was like little rings on the strands, and they basically piled up, like they do with Indians on the neck. Because when you pile them up, it's a technology that makes your certain segments of your DNA like numb and turns them off. Um, and that's what they do through by using substances directly injected into the bodies. They can turn off some of your abilities easily, because those substances can go straight into the physical DNA and create obstacles in kind of like rings almost, like, or membranes over the DNA strands to make them turned off and non-functional. You cleansed all of them, and then you just kind of like, I see you unfolding this. You're just glowing bright white, and I see your energy bodies, like your mental, emotional, and you're just doing this with your hands, and you're creating like this two and plates of energy, and in between the two plates, there's energy exchange going on, and it's cleansing both of your energy bodies, emotional and mental. Um, yeah, it's done. So, and you're just to those 11% of you who are still here, you just send the information to all of them, how to liberate themselves, how it's not needed anymore, just stay here if you want to go. Everybody's gonna go to his own place they want pretty soon. Uh, it's gonna be very interesting because it's like a blending of different dimensions at one level. But yeah, you can ask questions if you want. I see you clean right now.
Okay, the first one, when I was a teenager, I had this white face appear in the middle of the night, open my door, and it froze me. I was wondering if you can see what was that.
Yeah, that was the gray. He froze you because he said, well, now it's time, as according to our agreement, that you have to go with me. And the interesting part is that agreement was inside that book that we were writing, but I also see that book now is up here with held by your own higher self. And so he froze you to get you to go with to his experimental lab. It's almost like a factory, factory of microchips that he would take you to. Because something you're almost like a technician also, you would um, correct things for him. Some of the sketches you would correct, you would say, no, that's not how it works. So he would use you for that. But he would also, I saw 5 and 6 when they took your DNA, but he would also come and really absorb your, like, that through those bugs, the sexual energy, he would just like get it into all himself and wear it on himself. It's they usually put it in some sort of containers or balls or spheres, but with him, it's like he would grow in energy and he would absorb. And there would be like that moment. Um, when he would do that, he needed more energy, so he would come, and it just like he needed your physical body to be almost like paralyzed to do that. But I don't see any experiments going on because a lot of times they also cause night paralysis to take something from you or to insert something in you, things like that. But no, I don't see any of this. It's just the energy and to take you, kind of like push you out of your body. And in that moment, your body gets shocked with that ray of light he uses. He uses some technology. It looks like kind of thick stick. It has the holes on the side, two on each side, well, actually on 4 sides. And then it produces some, it's like a energetic ray of light that literally take pushes and takes your energy body out of your physical. So that's probably what you experience here. because that's what I'm looking and your subconscious showing to me.
So he was the one that would cause my sleep paralysis every time I had it.
Yeah, because
Uh,
he would take you. It's a technology, that's how it feels.
mm,
Because it was against your will, you know. And actually you can hold your energy body inside your physical body if somebody tries to get it out by your will wasn't strong enough due to implants. If you didn't have implants, you could actually stop it. When they try to abduct you and you're clean, they don't have technology in your energy sphere or in your energy bodies, you could just say no and they wouldn't touch you unless they have implants in you, and they did. So they could create this electromagnetic field around you, make your body as a rock, non-moving, and take your energy body out when they wanted to.
okay. There was another time that was later on in life. I was walking my two dogs at night, and an orange orb came from the sky vertically and it stopped in front of me, and then it took off sideways.
That's your real father.
Oh,
That's your real father from that realm who is just kind of watching over his children. It's just like a creator, but he says, no, I don't want to be called creator. There's a confusion about it. Nobody is a true creator of everything. There's multiple creators, but it's more like he's a wise man who observes. He says, we can call me a tree of life of the elf planet because I've been here for so long. I know a lot and I watch everybody. I keep track of my children who are just in different incarnations. And I sometimes want to remind them about. And when you form, see when he shows up and he's around you, when he can get your attention like that, that you would actually see him energetically, he can give you information that way. Because that way, when in that moment of you focusing your entire you, your conscious mind onto him, he can put like files of information into your conscious mind. So he can wake you up more, he can make you understand some things better, like that.
okay. Another one is after I'm from Colombia originally, I already told you that, and I immigrated in the year 2000. 2 months after that, I developed diabetes. Was it something that was done to me before I came, or something to hinder me in some way?
I hear two things. Not your land, and then I see the gray, and he's got this. He turned into this crazy white figure with black eyes, from gray skin to bright white. And I feel like he's angry with you that you actually moved because there was something about vibrationally where you were before that was easier for him to manipulate you and keep you connected to some people around you back there to manipulate you at the physical level, something like this. It's just and that what he basically projected this anger from himself into you, and he said, well, I'm gonna punish you for doing that against my will and against the what we agreed on. So he caused it, as I see. It's not a physical, it's energetic. Um, it's a etheric cause for that.
Yeah, I have a feeling I'll be able to get out of it next year. You just have to take some time.
Yeah, yeah, you can get rid of it. hmm Now that you understand, it's usually what it takes to understand, and then the problem disappears.
Okay. Another question. Right now, I'm in an ongoing legal battle with my work because I didn't want to take the syrup, and
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see what's going on with that because they said next week I'll be terminated.
Yeah, there's another path. That's your soul. See, your subconscious says, well, that's the direction everybody's gonna go. Um, there has to be. I'm looking at this timeline that there is a group of people, and there are multiple groups of people that you can work with of doing what you're doing now, but without that requirement. It's a much smaller group, but it's that's what people are gonna form because a lot of people are gonna be terminated, and a lot of people find solutions because we are creative beings. We can create a solution, and in this case, that's what I see, and that's what your subconscious actually from perspective of your soul. Your soul is happy because I hear toxic environment anyway
Hmm.
at that place. Of course, from your perspective, it's like survival, right? How do I
Yeah.
leave? How do um, you can start looking now. Actually, I know it's. I'll give you the. I'll put you in touch with somebody from Canada also. He's my former client, but we became friends, and he did this. He made this move too, just like what you're gonna do. They found he found some job that doesn't require it. Um, so there's gonna be groups like that. It's just a matter of getting into the right flow. It's
Hmm.
like multiple timelines, like rivers. You get into you start swimming in the right direction, the right river, the right people by vibration around you. They're swimming together in the same direction very fast with you. It's like the flow, you have to find the flow and kind of catch it, like a surfer catching a wave. I am.
Okay.
And it's not gonna, all these situations are gonna last for that long
Yeah.
anyway. So right now it's like they're trying to break people.
Hmm.
That's the thing when you kind of have to be strong. And then it's gonna end. I mean, because the thing is, what we see is a mirage.
Hmm.
It really is. Because those people who agree are part of the mirage, are part of this artificially created reality that is like a film, like a movie before your eyes. They're not really real people who are running on real true souls. They don't have that aspect to them. A lot of them have partial artificial souls, or they're by robots, or they're remotely controlled. There's a big, I mean, there's so many rooms. You would not believe on Saturn, on the moon, that they have it's like operators who control people.
Mm.
So,
Okay. I was told by another person that my mom had some Anunnaki connection and she had some kind of negative energy around her.
well, that's when we go back that you had some beings, so-called beings of light, but they're really not. And when your mother was, she has this connection. She was almost like praying for this higher guidance, higher help. When you would be sick or something like this, I feel that in your childhood. And there's a big overall Her energy sphere, when I called her from like far away, it's like all foggy, like gray fumes. And there's a very, very tall figure above her. And I feel like she's hybridized with that figure. Like tall, 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 like a giant type. I can't really see the face because the hood covering the face in front, partially. I see big mouth with like humanoid features, big lips, giant lips, um, big kind of like square chin. Yeah, looks like Anunnaki to me. I just got a cape,
Mm.
a black one. Um, she's in that fog. She's kind of like lost. It really is.
Yeah, I was told she had some kind of trauma as a child, and that might have induced some kind of fear throughout her life.
But she's walking like this. She doesn't know where the light is, where the door is, where her own light is. Um, like that. So you sent her this cloud, the clearing cloud, to give her the energy, to give her the light and information in the light. Um, and I see she clears up a little bit in front. It's almost like she's clearing the glass, the side of her energy sphere. And I see her face. Yeah, it's almost like she's burned up. Like I think it's as if she was in a fire and her body got like skin, got burned up like gray. I think it's like a layer created by that figure on her. Disconnect from the and distortion of her perception of this reality. And she's like stoned because her expression doesn't change. It's almost like, like slow motion moving. And you just tell her that the energy you sent her is gonna form a book. You just read a book and you educate yourself how to save yourself out of this situation. And she had like many, many lives like this in a fog and control. I feel like she's on repeat in terms of incarnations. Doesn't even really get a break in between. So I think you're gonna keep coming back to her and trying to walk her through the steps, how to help herself out, because it's gonna take some time for her.
Mm.
She's not at that level. When I look at her and touch her energy sphere, she's only 23% of understanding consciously, versus you, like 98, 99% of conscious mind, understanding of the processes of interference and everything. So it's going to take time. That's your path. But she got the information.
Mm. Yeah, my family has a really strong Christian background, so that's what they always have gone to, and they cannot believe anything outside of that. So I feel like that has hindered them from progressing.
Right. Yeah.
Um, can you see my sister? She's also very religious, but I feel like she might be more awakened now, even though she doesn't understand it.
Your sister behind And now on the side to the left has a mantis being. Next to the mantis being, there is looks like a turtle head being with a very thin eyes, like Asian eyes, dark black, like long, a wrinkly skin, brown. The mantis is doing something with it's something neurologically, thought process, mental connection, neuron connections. All this, how it's all connected to the soul, something research, something, because he's directed by the Taural being, which is a reptilian. And the mantis keeps, it's like she's in this white hospital robe, and I see the mantis like taking her by hand and leading her in the corridor. Corridor is very cold. And the ghost takes her to some room where they strap her to the reclined chair, and it's almost like they do an open heart surgery. I have no idea what it is, but it's got the lasers going into her chest, and it's like there is plate with holes with the cords going through holes, and they replace something there, and then they bring her back. And it's like she goes through stages in her life due to this implant. It's a major implant in the chest area. So it's hard for her to figure out who, connect to her true self, figure out who you are, and stand by who you are. That's my feeling. So she's more like led by the mantis and the astral, led by the society or the family, or um, you give her the information. You just created this big apple, abnormal, big. She's asking, what is this? And you're telling her, well, remember the Snow White, but it's the opposite of Snow White, because on the Matrix everything's inverted. I'm a positive wizard. I'm an elf. I'm giving you the good information with that apple. As you bite it one bite by one, you'll understand more and more slowly. It'll get rid of the ones who are in control of you to the left of you standing. Just look at them. Do you like their faces? And she got scared. I think she's seen dreams with them, or she's had a lot of scary dreams.
Hmm.
She's gotta be like, yeah, I'm sure she did, was the white lights or surgery type room, hospitals, things like that. Must be. Um, so yeah, she's just like, you told her to get rid of her fear first. She's all filled with it, like her head is all dark gray, and she transforms it into a big bird. It's like beautiful, like tropical bird flies out of her head, and then she's starting to bite the apple and saying, "Oh, she's freezing them. She's gonna figure out." I think if I fast forward, it's gonna take her time too.
Mm.
Not as long as your mother. Your mother, I'm not sure that she'll do it completely, because it's like she lacks the informational base to, because you can get rid of everything, but if you don't understand the mechanisms of interference, how they grab onto you when you are needy, you ask for help outside of yourself,
Yeah.
like they do, they would get back to you, reconnect to you. So
Mm.
put the implants again, and all over again it starts. So that's the thing. But yeah, you shared information. That's what you could do. And now just watch if anything changes, because you never know, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's the problem with religion, right? That's how they blind them.
Right.
Mm. Okay, I have a couple more questions. Uh, do you see any special connection with me and animals? I feel like I've always had that. I mean, with the whole elk thing and that, I feel like that's what's going on.
Yeah, because you actually create animals, but it's interesting that on your planet, I see it's almost like I don't even know who those are. They kind of look like soft beige with like spots all over, stripes, spots. They like a mixture of what is it's like a mixture of beaver and a squirrel and a but it's very soft, lovely being. And then I see some ships, like sheep, um, like a llama, but it doesn't
Mhm.
have this long neck and it's all fuzzy. And I don't, I mean, he has the eyes. It's like this blue eyes, and it's very soft. And I see like sometimes you use them literally as pillows to kind of lay down on them and reflect on things or just absorb the energy of the sun to recharge. And they're like your friends. But those the light brown beige thingies, I mean you just like create them and you show the kids how to create them and you say that hey you can turn them different colors if they want. Ask them what they want and they can climb on the trees. They're actually the ones who live up on the trees. And elves are mostly live in the root system of the tree, and the root system of the tree provides the light for underneath. And it's like you have almost like big rooms there where you live. Um, but you don't really use it much. You mostly like on the surface in the grass. Um, yeah, you definitely. I mean, elves and you just don't even see them as animals. You see them as equal friends, but they're just in different bodies. But you talk to them, and I mean, there's female elves and male elves. There are little kids running around. There are different mice type creatures, but they don't have the tails. They look more like hamsters. Looking at one right now kind of makes me laugh because it's like a ball of fuzz. I don't even see the eyes. Just ball of fuzz moving, and you catch them, and they're almost like they massage the palm of your hand with their paws, and it makes you laugh, and it's entertaining. I put it down. There are. I don't see any insects. Like everything is like fuzzy and soft. I see some blue birds. They're giant. They're not like blue avians, not like that. They're more like blue pigeons, and they also talk to you and they're little fuzzy beings. They're bunny-like creatures too. The ears are like antennas. They tune to you when they need your help. Always, what you need to help with? Finding portals. Go to different places. It's like they can go for a trip and back to the red planet, to the green planet, to the blue planet, the different planets they can go to. You call them by color. Color represents vibration and density that they want to experience. And you have those portals in the tree system, in the trees, definitely in the trunk of a tree. It's like a portal. And because the doors of the tree, when you touch it, it turns into different color, and you know exactly which tree leads where. And they don't, because from far away, unless you touch them, they all look the same color, kind of like the cork of the tree.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's some animals with like tails like this. It's like a cat, but like the same like the pig they draw, and it's soft and fuzzy, and it's like bright orange color, like a fox with the face of a cat type thing. Fuzzy here. Yeah, you create the animals.
Um, I almost had a near-death experience in Colombia. It was due to my diabetes, and I should have died, I believe, but somehow I was able to survive that. You see, and what was able to help me?
Gray wanted you to leave. You were an important asset for him for DNA hybrids and for the energy he would take from you. He would not let you die.
Mhm.
He just used some technology over you. It looks like metallic soft metal plate over you, and it's floating, and it's like all of a sudden it produces this green light, and you're in the green light and you're like revived. That's what I see.
Mhm.
You get out of the shock because you look like you're in shock.
Mhm. Okay. Um, do you know if you can connect with my grandpa? He died a long time ago. You know, if he has a message for me.
Can't understand what it is. So it's like a big energetic layer, thick layer of energy. And in that layer of energy, I see like, clams,
Mhm.
like something like this, but they're different. There are lots of them. Then they go like in this motion. They're owned by somebody. Let me see. Oh, it's like a crab type being, but it's a spider actually from Mars.
Mhm.
And he keeps them in the pods like this for energy, for keeping his. Oh boy, he like puts the in each pot he puts an egg, his own egg, so the eggs can grow together. On this nutritional. You don't know, it's like in microbiology when you grow something, you put it in a petri dish on the
Mhm.
some broth solution or something. It's kind of like that because it's very nutritionally filled and information filled. Souls, I mean, he puts the eggs with the human soul in the pot, so that his spider's egg baby can absorb the information and energy from a human soul. Um, there are more than 500 of them that are put in this motion. There's something about sacred geometry he uses. Vibration is much higher. Uh, you came and you opened his pod. You also mentally touched each and every clam-looking pod, and they all opened. And I see the souls, mostly like his color, light turquoise color, and they are starting to come out. They're just like unfolding into kind of looks like a flower with petals and forming bigger spheres so they can escape. It's like they're coming out of stasis because they're like asleep.
Mhm.
And he's He creates like a large blanket of his own energy and puts his energy around you and says, "Now I'm fine. Thank you. I'm ready to go back up and down here. I've seen it all, what you've seen. I know it all. I absorbed your knowledge. Thank you for that." And I see him like a comet going up. He went out of our universe and throughout the universes, kind of like shut up all the way up to that layer where we create, like our original source where we all are.
Hmm. I had an uncle that died in a plane crash. He was shot down by the Americans, I believe, because he was transporting cocaine over Costa Rica, I believe. I wonder if he was his soul strapped because of the way he died, or he was able to.
They were taken to some artificial, like created pocketed reality. I see like a bubble of reality in between two planets. It looks like meteorite, almost physical, that contains big 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 laboratory there too. Experimental something. Traumatized souls. Experiment in different toxic substances. I see a lot of injections in the back of the necks of the energetic bodies, and I see it looks like a hospital with beds, with energy bodies strapped to the beds. You just rain them. You like doing this energetic shower with information inside the light. It's like the bright drops of light containing information. And most of them are slightly, 87% is starting to wake up. And he's one of them. The body is very, very translucent, light yellow. Disconnects from the tubes running through the back. Underneath the bed, there's like holes and the tubes attached to the back. Disconnects from those. Opens some metallic box blended with the, it's like built into the wall. Takes a tube and starts getting out. Basically like evaporating. Like I see like his molecularly disintegrates and then reintegrates on some other planet. He's holding the tube with his DNA, and I see he destructs it in some. It's like the whole planet is covered with craters that contain some golden looking fluid. I feel like it's hot, it's like lava. He puts it in there and it engulfs it and it melts it. So nobody can get it anymore. The other ones do the same, but they go to different directions. Yeah, it's done.
Okay. Um, two last questions. Someone else told me that my future is gonna be back in Colombia, and I kind of see that being able in front of the sea for some reason.
Mm, yeah, because you moved here, and it's not only that the gray was saying that wasn't your spot, but yeah, it's also like you yourself. It's just not your place, kind of. But I
Yeah.
also see you moving from there also, or traveling a lot. So, because there's going to be an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I was told that too.
So yeah.
Okay. And then my last question is, I've always been confused about my sexuality since I was a kid. Was that the gray?
That's a gray, but it's also the elf people.
Oh, okay.
They're
Yeah, kind
kind
of
of
makes sense.
50-50.
Okay,
So
it makes sense
it's
now.
it's hard to determine who you really are. But you kind of because of that, and you're very nice and soft. You're with animals, it's mostly in the creative ability because you create the animals. Creation comes from feminine part.
Hmm.
And that's why in the life remember I said that you always pick the male body. You wanted
Hmm.
to balance a bit that, because also the gray wanted you to be in male body so you wouldn't connect closely to your female part
Hmm.
that is like full of creation. You can literally create amazing life for yourself that way. But a lot of us like that. I mean, to be honest, I don't feel like I feel like I'm both myself, but I come from those planets when we're kind of like that too.
Hmm.
So we can shape shift into shift and back and forth. If we need more male aspect, we'll do that. But that's how it should be. I mean, this strict black and white, matrix type division, it shouldn't be happening. It's just not right to do that. And heart should not be having two parts, and brain should not be split in two either. So it should be all one.
Hmm. Yeah, it was when I was a kid. It kind of, I mean, it did make sense, but then with the religion aspect, it kind of almost destroyed my life. So I was confused about it. So,
Because they want the male figure to be dominative,
hmm.
to dominant in every aspect of your life. God is male, and
Hmm.
most presidents and whatever leaders are male, and look at the ancient times, and the power. But it's a reverse, it's all inverted. It's
Yeah.
actually the opposite. This universe is female energy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they try to break it, like they're trying to break your spirit in the physical incarnation here. So, yeah, that was the last question.
Yeah, that was it. That was good. Thank you so much. It was a lot of this thing in the back of my mind. I kind of had answers, but it's just confirmation now.
Right. Yeah, people need confirmations. I know how it is. Yeah. And then at some point you understand everything so clearly you don't need confirmations anymore for
Yeah.
yourself. But anyway, okay, well, thanks. Oops, I have
Thank
to
you so much.
let me turn off the recording.